Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ozarks Live. So good to have you with us on this beautiful day. And Cammie Jenkins, this beautiful girl, is back with us today. You were here yesterday.
I was. We missed you yesterday. We had fun. I had to keep him in line, though. You know how Tom gets when you're not here.
I know how Tom gets. I absolutely do. I went over near St. Louis to part of the beautiful Missouri wine country. I'm going to take you soon to this other winery in Hillsboro.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, but thanks for coming in yesterday. And
what a day at work for you, huh?
Not a bad day.
Yeah,
she has a pretty good job. It's a long way, but it's not a bad, it's not a bad deal. It's a good drive over there, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's kind of one of those getaways that you can do in just a couple of hours, just a few hours,
perfect.
And you feel like you're a million miles away. So it was great.
And it wasn't cold. It was overcast, but it wasn't too cold or anything yesterday or today. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Nice.
And they're slowly starting to open back up. You know, you go out on these patios, and they have the little X's so that everybody can
stand or sit. Is this a place to sit down or?
Mostly sitting. They've got tables spread out as far as you can see, pretty much. They were a little bit closer together, but they've got them all over the driveway. It's a place called Wild Sun, by the way. Beautiful place yesterday.
I can't wait to see your video on that.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's going to be nice. All right, so you've got something you want to share today.
I do. Well, with all that's going on in the world right now, I think it's appropriate to take a minute to recognize all of those graduating seniors. And this is supposed to be a time of celebrating and parties and graduations, but things look different. And I want to show you a picture that local photographer Edge of Grace Photography took of an Ozark High School senior, Isaac Miller. You know, pictures are worth 1,000 words, yet this one makes me a little bit speechless. You know, there's a quietness to it, but it still says it all. I mean, it's a joyful time, but there he is in his mask. Doesn't it just say it all? Like, there he is.
You know, it does, and honestly, seeing this kind of makes me think that every senior out there should probably take at least one picture in the cap and gown and the mask, just because...
It's what's going on in the world. It's what you're going to remember.
It's true.
But I hope they still get their graduations coming up.
I do too, and it's one of those things where you think it's just that it's so sad because they don't get to have a lot of times their prom may or may not happen, their final sports, they work
like
so
their
hard.
Senior year of sports.
Oh yeah, all just gone, but then you think, moving forward, the class of 2020 will never be forgotten.
Right.
And it could be that for perpetuity, those people will be treated in such a way as to get a little extra something special, maybe.
I mean, it's sad, but there's such a strength from that. And that's, I think, what that picture brings out to me, is that there's strength in what's going on and how everyone's handling it with grace.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I just loved the picture.
It's a great picture. It really is. It really is. It's just a strange time, and I'm so ready to be done with it, but we're not done yet.
Right?
We're getting there.
Yes.
We're getting there. Okay. We have got a really fun show for you guys today. We get to check in with Tom in a little bit. He is over at Wild Animal Safari.
Yes, plus today is National Rescue Dog Day, so we get to check in with our friends over at the Humane Society of Southwest Missouri.
Yep, and Cammie, did you know it's also National Flower Day?
I did not.
Yes, I love me some flowers, and these are beautiful flowers, of course, from Linda's Flowers.
I can smell them.
They're lovely. They are,
yeah.
And I mean, it's just always a good time to send somebody flowers, and we're also going to talk to Price Cutter about their floral department as well. So we've got a lot to get to today. But before we get to all that, we're going to show you, guess what? What's on the radar? All right, I've got one for you. We were talking about social distancing. Okay, in this age that we live in, restaurant operators are sort of rethinking their dining rooms. Okay, this is kind of out there. All right, suspend your thinking for just a minute. A French designer started really thinking outside the box for this one. Okay, you ready for this? Check this out. He calls it the Plex Eat.
It looks like a wine glass.
It looks like an upside-down wine glass over your head, doesn't it? Paris-based designer Christophe Guerguignon is worried about the future of restaurants. He told Men's Health magazine, this particular design is the result of some late-night musings during the months of confinement. Right now, thank goodness, this is just a concept, but the designer calls the Plex Eat a cone of safety from both nearby diners and wait staff. And as the magazine said, well, here's to creative problem solving.
And I think that's one thing that's really coming out of this, is because people are getting creative. I mean, there's a problem, and there's lots of ways to solve it and to help with it, and people have time on their hands.
They have a lot of time on their hands to build something like this, build a prototype of this, but how do you hear each other with that around you.
It would feel awkward.
It would feel very awkward.
I'm not going to lie. We were meant to connect.
Yeah.
You know, not to have barriers around us.
And not one, but two plexiglass.
Right.
Right?
Me
It's going
and
to make
you.
it just a little hard to hear. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's just a prototype, so don't panic.
But
We're
if
good.
it helps us get to restaurants, then
That wouldn't
we
be
could
a
put
bad
up with
thing.
it for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's another way to pass the time and keep your little one entertained. Have you seen the father-daughter duo taking out the trash?
I think I know what you're going to show
Oh my
us.
goodness.
I love this.
This pair in Spain claims trash time is their favorite time of day. Jamie and his little daughter Mara dress up as different characters every single day to deliver the goods to the trash bin. You know, Spain was among the countries hit hardest by this pandemic, and this father reportedly started dressing up and taking his little girl outside after the country lifted the initial containment requirements, as at first children were not allowed to leave the house at all. Now the neighbors look forward to trash time too, as would I. How entertaining is that?
Too. This is great. I read something about this. I did. I just saw it earlier today, and I think that the dad went looking for some old Halloween costumes, started there, and then kept pulling more and more out, and then the daughter got into it. And apparently they have a little bitty baby at home, a little bit too small to get in on the action, but at least the one gets to get out and have some fun with her dad.
Right,
So.
and it takes time to put that on. It keeps her entertained, I'm
You
sure.
bet.
You know, my kids are doing less at home than I am, because at least I have some things to work on, and
Yeah.
of course there's always the house to clean.
Yeah.
Whereas they, you know, they would need that extra little entertainment.
Need a little something to look forward to every day. All right, I've got one for you. You like Post Malone?
Very interesting character.
Yeah, he is that for sure. All right, I learned something about Post Malone today that surprised me.
What's that?
Did you know he's a rosé fan?
I did not.
I don't know why that surprises me. I just didn't know that. But he's not only a rosé fan.
He doesn't look like it, maybe. I don't know.
He just, you know, I just didn't picture him, you know, necessarily sipping on a glass of rosé. But he makes rosé. He has his own
Really?
line. I love this. It's called Maison Number 9. And this is due to be released in June. I mean, you just don't see a lot of guys in general sipping on rosé, and I
Absolutely
shouldn't
not.
say that. I just don't see a lot of guys in my world doing that.
I
but
just
it's-
hear a lot of women talking about it. That's
Oh,
it.
It's delicious. And this stuff that he's got is the real deal. It comes from the rosé capital of the world, Provence, France. He apparently spent every spare moment during his 2019 tour sniffing and tasting rosé with a world-renowned winemaker named Alexis Cornu. Now, in a press release, the singer says that rosé is for when you want to get a little fancy.
Yes.
And the design of the bottle is Post Malone's very own design. The more I learn about him, the more interesting he is.
Like I said, interesting character.
Yeah,
and you just keep adding some of those things to the mix.
Didn't see that one coming. You know, over the years, though, we've seen celebrities who have come out with like a tequila or a different kind of spirit.
Right.
You know, but I just really like this. You don't see a guy.
It's like the salty sweet.
It is. It kind of is, with a beautiful pink bottle of rosé that he had a roll in all the way down to the label.
It could be marketing genius is
They
what
want
I
my
think it
pillow.
might
I'm a
be.
little excited about the rosé.